All right, let's do Raw here, and then we'll play a song and do Urban Wrestling.
Raw then? I wasn't even listening. I thought you were going to play a song.
Indeed.
Hunter
Let's
came
do
out.
Raw, and then we'll do Hood Justice later.
Hunter came out. He explained that he had fired Miz and Truth not because of a power play, but because of this. And he showed a promo they cut on WWE.com that was a hell of a promo about how they didn't need to worry about the ramifications of their actions. Everyone else needed to worry about the ramifications. And then it showed them apologizing to Hunter. They put on sad piano music as they apologized. It was so sweet and tender. I thought they were all going to hug. This is beautiful. And then Hunter said that they apologized, but they were full of crap. So he fined them. He got one more main event out of them, and then he fired them. The crowd booed this announcement. He announced a fine on Mark Henry for attacking Ross and Lawler. Said he would always do what was right for WWE. At this point, Vicky came out, and we got a parade of B-level heels coming out to complain about shit.
This segment sucked.
Dolph was upset that Wolverine punched him. Hunter said that I'll get some security to protect you from the Muppets when they're here in a few weeks. Cody came out, showed off the staple in his head. He wanted Orton punished. Hunter said one time Orton beat up my wife. I didn't go whining to the boss. I beat him up myself.
I love that because whoever wrote this thought that the angle where Hunter beat up Orton at his house before WrestleMania one year was actually a good angle. That angle killed interest in that match.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It was before Mania, wasn't it?
It was horrible.
He got to eat.
God.
He got his revenge before the show.
Damn, that sucked.
Before you mentioned that, all I remembered about that was Orton's wife in that angle.
Well, yeah.
That was probably his best wife. Outside, of course, of his real wife, whom I'm sure is a lovely woman.
Sure.
So, Christian came out. He wanted Sheamus punished. Hunter said that Sheamus threw him back in the ring and then said, quote, "It was a lumberjack match, idiot." I enjoyed that. Christian threatened a lawsuit. Then said he would drop the suit if he could get one more match. So Hunter booked a ton of matches. He booked Christian versus Sheamus at Hell in a Cell, against Orton on SmackDown, and against Cena tonight. Christian was happy about that until Hunter said it was non-title. Then Christian threw a tantrum and left. Then Hunter booked Dolph against the guy who pinned him last week, Zack Ryder, in a title match, which actually makes sense. And Dolph left the ring protesting, "He's an internet champion, doesn't even count." And Hunter said that due to Cody's injury, he was going to give him the night off, but Cody mouthed off to him, and so Hunter booked him in a match, and Cody kept bitching, so Hunter kept adding steps to it until by the end it was Cody defending his belt in a 10-man battle royal.
I mentioned this on the court show today, but God, this segment. Hunter, every person that went in the ring with him, when they first came to the ring, it's like, oh boy, here comes Cody Rhodes to have a segment with Triple H. You know, like you said, a parade of geeks. And maybe it wouldn't have been so bad if he didn't proceed to make every single one of them look like an even bigger dork. I think his whole role was to embarrass every single person that got in the ring. You know? It just infuriated me. And then, I don't know. I just thought this segment sucked. I thought nobody got over. I thought everybody looked stupid.
Of course.
I thought, I don't know.
I went into this with the mindset of, these guys are geeks who are here to look stupid, so I may as well enjoy the comedy, and thus I did. I've given up faith in any of these men being, Christian had a 6-month run. Hope he enjoyed it.
And is his gimmick now that he's going to want one more match forever?
Yeah.
Did they forget that they wrote SmackDown 3 days later and he got one more title match and lost? What's the gimmick? Did they forgot, or that he just wants one more match forever?
Forever. Until he wins again.
All right.
So, had a battle royal. They had 10 guys. Sin Cara was out there and had the stupid lights on. Drew McIntyre was in this match, and for reasons I cannot fathom, the other 9 men swarmed him and tossed him out immediately. Clearly, he's done something wrong. We had the Sin Cara switch. They got eliminated. The real Sin Cara was protesting.
Sin Cara was just another dork in a battle royal.
Yeah.
That was no bias.
Really, yeah, we need to say that. So, it came down quickly to Sheamus versus Cody. And Sheamus went to miss his kick and crotched himself on the ropes. He fucked that up about 3 times. Got caught in the ropes, had to free himself. And then Christian distracted him, and Cody hit him with his mask. I'm cutting to the chase. It's actually a lot more complicated than that. But the point is, Cody won the Battle Royal and retained his title. Yippee. He gave us an update on Jerry Lawler, where, for no reason other than to make Vince McMahon laugh, Michael Cole informed us that Lawler had been suffering from anal bleeding.
Yeah.
That was the point. Because somewhere, Vince McMahon was watching this, chuckling to himself, and buttholes. David Otunga was on my television in a short-sleeve shirt with a bow tie.
Short-sleeve military-style shirt.
He and Johnny Ace had a discussion. I don't have any idea what the fuck they were talking about.
I didn't either.
Not a clue.
I could not stop looking at his shirt and his bow tie.
I was listening.
And I won't forget it for the rest of my life, so he did something right here.
I suppose. Then he left, and Johnny Ace sent a text. Got a Kelly highlight video. My favorite part of this was where the editor of Maxim explained, direct quote here, Kelly's the kind of girl that guys like. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a fine profile, highlight video. Kelly and Eve versus Natalya and Beth. The highlight of this was Eve tried to hit a body press on Natalya, and Natalya ducked, and Eve went flying through the air, missed her by about 4 yards, and splattered to earth. Kelly still can't run the ropes, not even when two big scary women are throwing her into them.
Probably makes it worse.
Maybe it does. Well, you would think at that point she'd have no choice but to at least hit them. So then finally Beth pinned her with the bitch clamp, and the announcer said, probably Cole, they're off the schneid. Yes, the main event heels have ended their losing streak. Or at least the main event, the women's division. Mark Henry versus Great Khali. Before the match could start, thankfully, Henry hit him with his belt, and then he picked him up for the World's Strongest Slam with ease and planted him. He's terrifying. And that was it. John Cena came out and said nothing for about 10 minutes.
This segment.
John
Cena on this show. Sometimes I think that, because he never sells it, But sometimes I think that John Cena must go, I don't need this belt right now. No wonder everybody hates me. Do I really need to be champion again? I don't know. I could be reading too much into this, but he came out on this show and he's just such a robot.
Yes, that's the word.
Came out and talked about how important this match was and just, a total company shill. This match is so important.
And
I'm going to hell.
And everything he said sounded phony.
Exactly.
That's the point. There was
a goddamn word he said.
Zero emotion or passion behind any of this. He was reading his script.
He read a script about how important this match was. I didn't believe him. I didn't care.
No.
And he was actually much worse doing commentary later.
Yes.
We'll get to that after a while.
This was awful. So it was Christian versus Cena. They had Punk and Alberto out in commentary. The highlight of this for me was Christian hit a top rope dropkick. And remember in the SmackDown review, I said that Great Khali cannot take a bump without hurting himself? I don't think Cena can either, based on the bump he took here. He took a top rope dropkick and gently sat down on his ass. This was his worst night in a long time, and think of the ground that covers. So somewhere in here, they brawled over by the announce desk. Alberto cheap-shotted Punk. He hit the ring to attack Cena for the DQ, then he ran away. He cut a promo announcing, "It is my destiny to beat the hell out of you." That was a great line. We had Zack Ryder versus Dolph Ziggler. Swagger was out there in Dolph's corner. They're pals now. And he helped Dolph win. Then Air Boom came out to make the save. So yes, the babyface is a 3-on-2 edge. Teddy Long came out and he announced he was booking a 6-man tag, and Vicky had 3 minutes to find a partner. So I thought, well,
I got a question for everybody.
All right.
I ranted about this last night, and of course the Zack squad was out in full effect, so angry at me. And I just have a question for everybody. So, if you were going to do the tag match, and Zack was going to beat Dolph Ziggler in the end, much like he beat him last week, and we're presuming they're going to have another match because, of course, he beat him at the end of this tag match here. Why did you even have to beat Zack in the singles match?
Don't know.
Why didn't you just throw the fucking match out and then sign a 4-way and then have Zack win? Was there a reason that Zack had to go in there, not get a single bit of offense as soon as the bell rang? The bell rang and Dolph immediately started beating the shit out of him. He beat the shit out of him for 95% of the match. Zack got a quick comeback, and then Swagger snapped his neck on the ropes, and Dolph pinned him.
Well, you see, Brian, they're afraid he will get over.
I see.
They must punish their fans.
I
How
see.
dare these fans cheer for someone who is not the guy they want cheered?
If only they knew that these fans are not being punished. They see these as great victories for Zack Ryder.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah. The board amazes me.
Well, what amazed me was the next segment. We have been pleading for years about someday they're going to do a Great Horseman beatdown. And how, Kelly would be the perfect person to do it and turn on somebody and team with Beth and Natalya. They did it here in the most poorly executed, ass-backwards way you could possibly do it. This was the exactly 180 degrees wrong way to do a Horseman beatdown. So Vicky couldn't find a partner. So it's the World Tag Team Champions and their friend Zack with a 3-on-2 advantage against the poor, helpless heel tag team of Dolph and Zack Swagger, one of whom has already wrestled.
Yeah.
They're not even at full strength. Somewhere in here, by the way, I don't know if you caught this, but
Yes, I did.
the comment about Evan's age.
Yes.
Well, I'll repeat it. Cole said that Evan's goal was to be 150 years old, to which Booker T replied, in this exact words, in this exact tone, well, that's not going to happen. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Phenomenal.
So they're doing this match, and the heels are fighting back valiantly. Though outnumbered, they're courageously pushing on and doing their best. But they're being overwhelmed. And so Vicky brings out giant Mason Ryan to save the day. Wherever he's been for the past 6 months, he got bigger. So Swagger is in the ring. The good guys are working him over. And the gimmick is, you have this guy, he's all beaten up, and then he goes to tag out, and then the guy turns on him. Swagger cuts Kofi off. Swagger has not one, but 2 tag team partners, and he chooses to stay in the ring to wrestle more on his own.
Well, he doesn't like his partner.
So eventually, far past the point where it would have been desperate, to the point where it's merely convenient, he goes over and tags Mason in. Mason turns on him. He beat the hell out of Swagger. Then he beat up Dolph by himself. So, in fact, the heels were both made to look like bumbling fools. And the other whole point of the Horseman beatdown is, the part that makes it so evil is that not only have you been turned on by your own partner, not only are you now fighting 1-on-2, now you're fighting 1-on-3, right? That's the idea.
Sure.
Mason Ryan tagged in and beat up both the bad guys by himself.
Yeah.
He was outnumbered.
Well, he's a babyface.
I don't know.
He's a babyface now.
Every part of this just sucked.
I just want to know if they're going to do an interview with Mason Ryan explaining his actions.
I don't care.
Of course they won't. That was being facetious.
I see. So, yes, and then Zack Ryder pinned Dolph, which does, in fact, raise the question, why did Dolph pin him earlier?
Because they don't want anyone to get over, including Dolph.
This was a bad show.
It sucked. This segment sucked. I don't care what anyone says. It sucked. And I'll bet if you ask Zack Ryder, he'd also tell you this segment sucked.
I think it's a fair guess.
Yes.
I think it's a very fair guess. Had the usual Hell in a Cell highlight video. David Otunga in his bow tie met with Dolph, Cody, and Christian. They all agreed on a lawsuit. There you go. And we had the main event. Alberto Del Rio versus Punk. They had a good match, but it was after 2 hours of a show that killed me. Following 2 hours of a show that I loved, so I was, a little burned out here. John Cena was on commentary. He sounded even more bored than I was. He had no interest in this match. He had little interest in the pay-per-view. He wanted to wrestle Michael Cole, he said. And there was a point here it was either Ross or Cole. One of them was talking about how it's a three-way at Hell in a Cell, and thus he said the champ doesn't have to be pinned to lose his title. In the very next sentence, Cena said that after the pay-per-view, there would be a definitive champion. First of all, isn't there a definitive champion right now?
I thought so.
Doesn't John Cena have the belt?
Sure.
After he beat the champion clean with the SDF and tapped him out? Second of all, how can it be a definitive champion if, as Jim Ross said one sentence before you can lose the title without being pinned?
Well, presumably he means that he's not going to be pinned. I don't know. He sucked on commentary. He just sucked.
A 10-inch cock, in fact. So they had a good match, and then Punk hit him with a high kick out of nowhere and pinned him clean. Just like Mirko Cro Cop, in fact. Maybe that was what this was.
That's what I thought it was.
I didn't think of that until right now.
Yeah.
But that's what happened. The Cell then lowered, trapping Cena and Punk and Alberto and Ricardo in there. The good guys were attacking Ricardo, and they turned on each other, and then Alberto hit them with a chair a lot. And that was Monday Night Raw.
Boy, did he ever hit him with a chair, I will say that. Probably because he realized how stupid this booking was. Maybe he heard Cena on commentary.
That is a better explanation, actually. Cena's commentary may have been, it was definitely worse than the booking.
Oh, God, Cena was so bad last night. All right, let's play a song, then we'll talk about
Hood Justice.